Welcome to another episode of the F Word. We're back in our third or fourth series of these, and today I am with Jessie Leigh. Hi, Jessie.
Hi, Laura.
And Jessie's from WorkWell, and she's going to tell us all about what WorkWell does and how they work with employers in Cornwall. So tell us a little bit about WorkWell, Jessie.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, we've all, I suppose, had a point in our lives where maybe health has been a struggle with work for us or somebody we love and care for. And WorkWell is here as a support for anyone in that situation. So it is personalised coaching and support to help people stay in work or get back to work when health is making it a bit of a struggle.
And how long have you worked with the team there?
Oh gosh, it's coming up to 2 years.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, we were very excitingly, Cornwall and Isles of Scilly got the chance to pilot this new service as one of 15 areas working with the government to try this out as a new way of helping people to stay in work. Because basically, once people fall out of work because of ill health, they're 3 times less likely to ever go back into the labour market. So yeah, it was a bit of an experiment to see if we could help keep people thriving in work. So initially it was just a 18-month pilot period, but grown in Cornwall, success. Government is now committed to funding it everywhere in the country until at least 2029. So we're very busy getting going in Devon as well now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And so how has it been going? So what are the types of workplaces you've been working with and the sorts of things it's been helping employees?
Oh gosh, well, anything and everything. So firstly, in terms of the kinds of health conditions that people might be struggling with, the most common is mental health. So that's about half. Then also muscle, joint, back pain. But then also things like neurodiversity, especially for younger workers, menopause for, those of us who are a bit further advanced in years, all sorts of health conditions, physical or mental. And then in terms of the kinds of businesses that this helps, it again is everyone. And I think particularly because we've got so many people in Cornwall who are sole traders or running small and micro businesses who maybe don't have the budget for a big employee assistance scheme or occupational health offering. It feels particularly precious to be able to offer this here so that there is something fully funded that everyone can access.
So this is completely free to the employer?
Completely free to the employer.
Don't hear that very
yes,
often.
you don't hear that very often. And not only is it sort of no cost to the bottom line, obviously it can really help the bottom line because when people are struggling in work, they're not as productive. When they have time off, there's a cost to that. And if they fall out of work and you have to then recruit and train up somebody else to take their place, all of those things carry quite big direct or indirect cost to the business. So helping to avoid those is good for business as well as good for people.
Yeah, that kind of helps both sides. And with the changes that came in April with sick pay and day one rights and people getting paid from day one, that's a cost to the employer. So we're seeing those costs increase. So actually, that focus on staying in work and retention is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And, because I think you met Charlie Mayfield when he was down, that whole Keep Britain Working review that he did was really focused on the role of employers and businesses in this. And that's why we're so keen to be working with employers because when people are struggling at work, where do they find out?
Yeah.
Where do they find out what support's available? And very often it is through conversations at work, through information from their employer. So.
Yeah. And it's really lovely as well how this is a support for the employer who doesn't have to be able to triage or be able to find out sort of what is wrong with someone, they can just pass them sort
Yes.
of over, can't they? So how does it work? How does an
Well,
employer?
you've hit on a really,
Okay.
really important part of the service there, actually, because Charlie Mayfield was really big on the fear that there can be. Employers can fear getting it wrong, saying the wrong thing about health or disability can be a difficult thing, but also employees can have a lot of fear about telling their boss. I mean, it's quite a hard conversation. I'm struggling to do my job because
Mm,
of health. That's
yeah.
quite a brave thing to say. Um, so WorkWell is entirely confidential. So it means where they might not feel confident coming to their boss or to their boss's occupational health company
Mhm.
and asking for help, the confidentiality of WorkWell makes it a really good offer. So in terms of how it works, fill in a simple form, and one of our lovely friendly coaching team will pick up the phone and be in touch within 72 hours. And they are all kind of trained in personalized coaching. They're really wonderful at what they do. And they will have a first conversation to find out what matters for you, what's going on, what your goals are, and then tease out what kind of actions you want to take together to get where you want to get to,
Yeah.
and then further sessions of coaching and support as needed to help you get there. Yeah.
Great. And can that referral, does it have to come through the employer, or can an employee self-refer?
People can self-refer.
Okay.
So we have found you might not always know. So for our lovely Workwell employer champions, they really understand that the confidentiality is key to why we get such amazing impact and participant feedback. But they're also like they'd love to know. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, you do all the kind of promotion. It's helping build resilience in your workforce. You might not know what's happening in terms of people taking up that support, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. And that's difficult, but also really lovely at the same
Yeah,
time, that it doesn't have
takes a
to
weight
be,
off
yeah,
perhaps.
and be
Yeah,
so formal, perhaps,
yeah,
I guess, in some of those processes.
yeah.
And can you give us an example of something? Because the services aren't all delivered by your team, are they?
No, no. So I work for the NHS in a commissioning body, which means we don't do the delivery. We work really closely with some of the amazing partners and delivery organisations that we have here in Cornwall. So the coaching is provided by largely by a team in Pentreath, who are actually just down the road from you
Yeah,
here in
yeah.
Three Milestones. So they are a mental health charity that have been working for about 3 decades now in
Mhm.
Cornwall. And so they have a team of coaches who do virtual coaching. So, wherever you live, remote rural geography, the service is really easy to access. And then we also have some coaches who are out in places of highest need, and can do kind of face to face. Yeah.
Right. And I think it's well kind of publicised that there can be a waiting list sometimes with the NHS with accessing certain services through the sort of GP routes.
Yeah.
So if you're in work and this is something that's affecting your work life, this actually might be a much, well, most likely to be a much quicker
Yeah.
and direct way to get the support that you need.
Absolutely. So it's fast, which, as you say, is a wonderful and
Yeah.
rare thing today. So yeah, someone will be in touch within 72 hours. Fast, free, and flexible. So it is highly personalised around you, whatever your health conditions are, your goals are, what you want to achieve. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's no wonder you're trying to get it out there and speak about
Yeah,
it as
well,
much
I
as you
think that's
possibly
the thing.
can.
You start something new, and you'll know this because you kind of have set up from scratch. Part of it is you need to have a really good quality service, but then also you just need people to know about it and be
Yeah.
aware of it. So connecting people with the quality support that's on offer is so important.
And you touched when we first started talking around employer champions.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm going to ask you the question, but I know the answer.
Yeah.
But can you tell us a little bit about that side of it?
Yes, and we are delighted, Wyfield, and unsurprised because you do so much around workplace wellbeing, to have Wyfield as one of our founder WorkWell employer champions. That is essentially, as I say, connecting people with the support was what we found was the big challenge in the pilot. We very quickly realised the feedback on the service was excellent. It was really high impact. It was what people needed, but we needed help in reaching people, letting them know about it. And employers have an amazing role to play there. And as you said, they have really strong incentives to do that as well, because it's not in their interests and not in their financial interests to have people struggling to work because of health. So yeah, and what we have found, I think quite often, and I know because we both sit on the chamber board and we hear so much, businesses can get a little tired of public sector exhorting them to do better and more things. This is a really lovely offer, because it's simply a set of free, fully funded resources, and Susie, who does our comms, has a lovely resource pack of materials to help promote it. So we simply ask that you promote WorkWell support to your staff regularly. So we all know that kind of drip feed, tell people once, they'll probably forget, and they might not have needed the help at the time. 6 months later, they might be struggling and need it. So we ask people to do some shout out in their team messaging, in whatever format you do that, at least once a month, and tell Susie what you've done. So that's a nice simple ask, and help us promote the scheme and recruit other people to it. So we had our first, we're aiming to bring our WorkWell employer champions together probably once a quarter for breakfast, networking, sharing best practice. And we had the first of those hosted by the wonderful Falmouth Harbour just a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, so it's a chance to meet like-minded business owners and share tips on what helps the workforce to thrive. So yeah, that's the employer champion offer. I should have said, actually, one of the things that I think employers has really captured the imagination is, alongside our personalized coaching and support, we have also trialed a WorkWell mental health app. So that is a kind of digital therapeutics in your pocket, anytime, anywhere. It's been really successful, so it's achieving clinically significant improvements in anxiety and improving depression for people who are using the app. And it's a really nice tangible offer. So I think employers have really valued being able to make that available to their staff at no cost.
And if somebody needs a service, sometimes that can be quite urgent or quite a priority for them. And as you say, although it's 72 hours, which is ridiculously quick for something that's a funded service, actually being able to say to them, this is where you can speak to somebody, but there's also this app for that interim sort of period, so that actually immediately they've got something solution.
And I think, I mean, the feedback we've had from people is that in some cases they're not ready to have a kind of coaching conversation. It feels easier to do that on an app, but if they feel then that they do want to connect with a coach, there's a really simple button in the app to connect with a real life human to pick up the WorkWell journey. But it can also be really useful as well, because the coaching and support service is obviously, it's a light touch, resilience building, preventative support. It's not there to kind of be there for you forever. So it's a lovely thing for people as they're moving on in their journey to be able to take the app with them, and keep that support going.
And those tools they've learned that time. And it doesn't require any type of medical diagnosis or anything, does it? This is completely I'm not feeling quite right for physically,
Absolutely.
mentally, whatever that might be.
Yes, absolutely. So you could be referred by your
Hmm.
GP, but mostly people are coming to the service through other routes. And
Yeah.
yeah, the eligibility criteria are really simple. If you're over 16 and you have the right to work in the UK and a postcode in Cornwall and Isles of Scilly, soon to be Devon as well, then as long as you identify a health struggle
Yeah.
affecting your work, that's it.
So
Uh,
even if you were out of employment, so if you'd maybe
yes,
been made redundant or you were struggling to find employment, this can still help you at that level.
absolutely. So the one thing we say is it is light touch. So if people have got really entrenched and complex
Yeah.
needs, or they're not feeling motivated to get back to work, this probably isn't the service for them. Um, Typically, people have 4 or 5 sessions of support,
Hmm.
and
Is
that kind of
enough.
gets them where they
Yeah.
need. They want to get to. So that could be someone who has been out of work caring for children or elderly parents for several years and is really wanting to make that step back in, or it could be someone who is in work and struggling not to go off sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's there for people in a whole range of different life circumstances. But I know from my own experience when I have had time out of work, maternity leave or short illnesses, your confidence drops off quite
Yeah.
fast. So when you're not in work and connected with the team and what's going on,
Mm.
we find that the most common non-health barrier that people want help with is confidence.
Confidence.
Yeah.
So somebody that wants to get back into work and maybe, as you say, has been out of the workplace for a little while, is there a sort of a follow on where you can signpost on further if someone needs some genuine, even just skills, not
Yes.
necessarily medical support, but
Yeah.
skills around workplace?
Absolutely. So the heart of the service is that personalized coaching,
Mhm.
and that's actually quite skilled kind of
Yeah.
teasing out what the issues are, so some quite skilled coaching, and then helping people to think through what they can do for
Mhm.
themselves, because it's all about building that resilience and empowering people. But also the coaches will look at what other support is out there. They'll
Yeah.
do their research, find out from their own knowledge and research what might help you. And there is a whole plethora of support services out there for work and health. They can be quite tricky to navigate and find what's there.
Yeah.
So when government started this pilot, the ultimate ambition is to really join up
Yeah.
all of the wide range of support services that are out there. And so the coaches can really help people to access other support as well. So that might be skills and training. It might be you need just a bit of help with equipment.
Mhm.
It might be actually you've got health needs that are not being met
Yep.
and that
To
they
some
can help with.
advocacy
Yeah.
kind of support.
You might need help having difficult conversations with or employers that feel difficult for you to have
Mhm.
with your employer about what adjustments you might need. So it can be support with that,
Mhm.
a whole range of things. And it might be that actually people who do need some sort of longer term support, and it's finding something for them to move on to
Yeah.
after their WorkWell journey's finished.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just incredible. And from the minute I sort of learned about it, I've loved the spirit of it and everything that it's trying to achieve. And I think a question that I was asked was for a small business owner, again, as you touched on how difficult that can be, that actually
Yeah.
that small business owner can access some of this
Yeah.
in terms of if they're sort of feeling that from the load of owning a business, running a team, trying to stay motivated
Yeah.
and positive with their team. So actually, it's not just the employees, but the
Yeah.
employer in a way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm continually impressed by all the entrepreneurs out here in Cornwall making amazing things happen, but with takes huge amount of energy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's why some of the business networks that we have at Cornwall are so important, because it can be a little lonely too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's there for founders, it's there for, as well as employees,
Yeah.
and it's there for sole traders. It's there for everyone. And actually, the other thing that we found, WorkWell employer champions have fed back. sometimes it might not be you that's struggling. It might be someone you love, someone in your family who's struggling with their health to work, and that has ripple effects, doesn't it,
Yeah, it does.
through all of the family and friendship networks. So it can just help people to connect their loved ones with support, which can indirectly help them as well. Yeah,
Yeah, because sometimes you can feel helpless when someone's in a situation and you aren't able to diagnose or signpost
yeah,
yourself, but being able to just give them something that is actually pragmatic and
yes,
there is a solution is yeah,
really
that's a big
important.
difference.
Yeah. And then the other lovely thing about it is because it's available for everyone from 16 up,
Hmm.
and there's no cap. So you might remember Kim Conchi when he was running Chamber with us talking about the importance of a whole life career
Hmm.
and how your energy and how you can work and what you can bring changes at different points in that. And so we've really seen what's lovely is WorkWell is supporting across that whole life
Great.
career.
Yeah.
So we have, 16, 17, 18-year-olds who are right at the start, taking up that support. And so, over the summer, we often do a sort of shout out to parents as well,
Hmm.
supporting people to manage all the demands of maybe working through studying and exams and all the rest of
Yeah.
it. Remember it's for the young folk too. And then also people who are keeping going because they know that work feeds them,
Yeah.
it can bring meaning and purpose and social contact into life as well as money. And sometimes people need the money as well, even
Yeah.
after retirement age. So it's there for people throughout, which
Yeah.
is really lovely.
Which is
Yeah,
then a huge breadth of service and
yeah.
knowledge. And those work well as your team then must be just so knowledgeable of what's
They
going
love the
on.
work as well. It's so lovely when you see the coaches because
Yeah.
I think quite often people can be it can be hard yards helping people out of but there's such a wealth of people in this cohort that we're
Mhm.
trying to support who actually don't need huge amounts because they are motivated.
Yeah.
They do want to manage their health condition. They do want to work and thrive in work. And so, in a relatively short amount of time and a short number of coaching sessions, you can feel like you've made a massive difference to people's lives. So, the
Mm.
coaches find it incredibly rewarding, and they really are the heart of the service and why it's
Mhm.
successful and why it gets such great feedback from users. They're really dedicated, really knowledgeable, and yeah, just really lovely humans who you'd want to talk to if you were
Yeah,
struggling. Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
And what are their backgrounds? What sort of things have these coaches done
Oh,
in their
all
careers?
sorts of different things. So they tend to bring experience of so there was a whole agenda in health
Hmm.
services around personalisation,
Okay.
which is all about making services focus on what the individual needs
Hmm.
rather than what the machine thinks they
Oh,
should
their
have.
condition or their diagnosis
Yes,
says they need.
yes.
Okay.
So it's holistic
Hmm.
because it might be that you come with your main barrier is perhaps back pain affecting your work, but there might be a whole set of other things in your life that are making it hard as well. So
Yeah.
a personalized conversation can address all of those things. So these are people who have been taking that personalized coaching approach in all sorts of other support services. So they bring that background and their own life experience
Yeah.
to the role. Yeah.
And if anyone hasn't had coaching, I can't recommend it enough, whether it's from a health perspective or a professional perspective.
Mm.
Actually, speaking with someone who knows how to ask the right questions at the right time is a gift, isn't it?
It
People that can do that.
really is. I'm always really impressed by the people who do this really well. And it can be really hard. You were talking about, the kind of the level of energy and work it can take to run a business.
Hmm.
It can be really hard to carve that time out
Yeah.
to do that for yourself. So to carve out the time in a session where someone skilled is helping you
Yeah.
think it through can be really high impact in quite a short space of time.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of return on that time
Yes.
investment, isn't there?
Yeah,
In the
there
people
is.
you're speaking to. Yeah, I'm always in awe of people that can navigate the conversations in that way.
Yeah.
Patience.
Yeah. 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 It's life skills, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And you said that there's sort of no cap and it's free, and they've committed to this for a while now. So
Yes.
if everybody, if you were inundated, you can
We
you can
haven't,
manage that.
yes.
What's the
Well, we haven't had that challenge yet.
okay? There we
I
go.
mean,
Challenge accepted.
when we started, we you know you're trialing a service for the first time, so you open the doors and you have no idea if you're going to have over or under provisioned. We have we want there to we don't ever want a waiting list for
Yeah.
WorkWell. It's really important that it is fast, because one can be a brave step to reach out for
Hmm.
help. And timely support is really important for this kind of preventative approach
Yeah.
to keep people in work. So
Yeah.
so we are just about to, or our delivery partners are just about to start recruiting in some Devon-based coaches
Hmm.
to add capacity to meet demand in Devon. And we're still in a pilot phase, so we are still learning what level of demand we need to make sure we've got capacity for before we go into mainstream delivery from next year. So
From next year.
this is still
Okay.
a learning year. So we're maxing out all of the outreach that we can do through our brilliant WorkWell Employer Champions
Hmm.
network and marketing and communications, and work with GPs and job centres and all the voluntary sector partners, so that we feel that we've got a really good understanding of what steady state
Hmm.
demand will look like, and make sure there's plenty of coaching capacity to meet that. But yes, please accept the challenge. We have not yet been inundated to a
Okay.
point where we start to worry about that.
There we go.
No waiting lists.
And challenge accepted. I think that the more we talk about it and the more people talk about getting some help when you need it and at the right time, then
Yeah,
that's a
it's so
huge message.
important. So the wonderful colleagues at BBC Radio Cornwall just did like a month-long
Oh, amazing.
focus on mental health. And it's just really lovely to see some of those conversations being normalised.
Hmm.
In fact, when I first got the job, it was, friends and family were like, "Oh, that's great," and then they were trying to understand what it was about, and they reached for. So is that about getting people off benefits? And I was really fascinated, because my family and friends are not particularly the Daily Mail reading tribe, and I was like, "Oh, how interesting." We've reached for that, and
Yeah.
I realised that the only framing that we have for
Mm.
talking about work and health in our public life and public conversation is about getting people off benefits. And so I was having to say to them, no, mum, remember when dad had that period where he needed some help, and you were just talking about our friend with the thyroid problem, and what she,
Yeah.
it's impossible to get to any, certainly to midlife where I am, without having had health
Hmm.
either directly affect your own ability to work
Yeah.
for a short or a longer period of time, or to affect someone you love.
Yeah.
So it's something that, when you start to unpack it a little bit, it resonates with everyone.
Yeah.
I would love that to be just more normalized in the
Hmm.
conversations we have at work, at home, and in public life, because it's terrible to think there are people out there struggling,
Yeah.
who don't feel able to reach out for help.
Yeah. Well, they do,
Um,
and they've got to wait 3 months to,
yes,
because you could be in a much different place
yes,
3 months down the line. So
yeah,
actually, and it's not about being in work or out of work.
mm,
It's staying in work, isn't it?
yeah,
Or doing work you enjoy
and
and
that
getting that enjoyment
enables you
from
to
it.
manage your whatever your health condition might be. So
Hmm.
there will be some, sadly, our bodies do start to let us down sometimes, don't they? So it might be, that tricky thing of, my identity has been really tied up in doing this particular type of work. And if you've been doing something for decades, it can
Mm.
be really hard to imagine a different identity for yourself of doing something different. But there's always a way to contribute your talents to the world, and it's always, I think it's a human need to feel appreciated for what we have to bring to the world. So finding something that people can do,
Mhm.
with whatever health condition or challenge that they're managing, is really important.
That was such a lovely summary at the end. Thank you, Jessie. So just to summarise for anyone listening, how can they get in touch? What's the best way to find out more?
If they Google WorkWell Employer Champions, it will take you to a web page which has all the details and a link to sign up and join the movement. And you'll get a resource pack, and our wonderful campaign lead, Susie, will be in touch. If you are just wanting to access the service, WorkWell Cornwall, Google search. There is also, I wonder if on your website we could put
I think we have a link. I'm
a
saying
link.
it.
We're
Megan
all
in my
looking at
peripheral.
Megan. Megan's giving us the thumbs up.
There you go.
We love Megan. Yeah.
So
You can find the link after this podcast.
Amazing.
Thanks to Megan. Thank you.
And just before we wrap up, this cup that is in front of me here, Megan's given us as well, which is questions from previous guests that they've written to ask. So I'm going to take one out and ask. And I have no idea who's written these and what they say. So let's know. Okay, so this one says, what does success mean to you now that it didn't mean 10 years ago?
Oh,
we're going deep.
Yes, well, we'll go deep. My approach to life in the last decade has been follow your joy. I'm sure, I think you kind of have to have a level of backing your gut instinct to have established a business. So that might resonate with you, Laura. But I think if you follow what brings you joy and brings you alive, it's going to take you to the thing that enables you to contribute to the world in a way that feeds your soul. You'll make the biggest difference that way.
Oh, that's really, really lovely. Thank you, Jessie. And thank you so much for coming on and speaking to us today about WorkWell. We'll be banging the drum continuously.
Thank you.
And really hope that we're able to reach more people through shouting about it. So
really
thank you. And thank
that.
you for being on the F Word.
Thanks so much.